Hey guys, welcome to the Learn Feng Shui podcast, where you'll learn Feng Shui from a classical point of view, taking out the myth and superstition. So if you're interested in learning Feng Shui, Chinese astrology, all things Chinese metaphysics, as well as the superstitions and myths that connect it all, you'll enjoy learning Feng Shui with me. Hey guys, welcome to September Energy Update. Let's get into the month of the Water Rooster. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Learn Feng Shui podcast, where we dive into the art of creating balance and harmony in our lives and spaces. I'm Candace Berlanga, certified Feng Shui practitioner and red ribbon professional with the International Feng Shui Guild. And today, I'm excited to bring you our monthly energy update, where we explore the energetic themes and astrological influences that shape the month ahead. As we move through the cycles of each year, each month can bring its own unique energy that does offer us opportunities for growth and reflection, transformation. In this monthly episode, I'll guide you through some key themes that you can focus on and challenges that you need to be aware of, as well as practical tips that can help you kind of align the flow of energy for the month. So whether you're looking to enhance your personal life, your relationships, or just your space, this update does provide the insights and tools you need to make the most of the month ahead. In this case, it is the month of the Water Rooster. Let's get into it. All right, guys. So you already know we're starting off strong with the solar cycles. So the solar cycles is a 15-day solar cycle of energy. And there's two within each month. Usually they are referred to as a micro season, of course, encompassing the 30 days of the month. The first one, starting the month of the Water Rooster, does start September 6th and it lasts through September 22nd. It is a time of the year where we start seeing more dew on the ground, more condensation, and it does kind of correspond with this metal energy of the month. Remember, metal does produce water, and metal is the governing energy of the autumn months. We also do start to see the migration of birds for the winter season. September 22nd through October 7th is the autumn equinox, and it corresponds closely with the pagan wheel of the year and the observance of the autumn equinox. A neat little tidbit I found in the Old Farmer's Almanac is something called Harvest Home, which used to be celebrated in British countries and in other parts of Europe. This marked the conclusion of the harvest and a period of festivals for feasting and Thanksgiving. It was also a time to hold elections, pay workers, and collect rents. These festivals usually took place around the autumn equinox, and certain groups within the United States, for example, the Pennsylvania Dutch, have kept this tradition alive. Staying healthy during this time, protecting your lung and skin from dryness. So again, those are two organs within Chinese medicine that are represented by the element of metal. So it is recommended to use moisturizers and eat seasonal foods, which we'll talk about in just a second, to keep these organs nourished. Remember, your skin is the largest organ. You do also want to warm your stomach and spleen to help moisten the body. Keeping warm, especially in the cooler mornings and evenings, especially your head, neck, feet, and ankles. And as winter nears, help preserving your yin energy is recommended by getting plenty of rest and sleep to maintain a yin-yang balance. I personally love to be outside during this time of year. We've had a little bit of a cooler weather this last week. And in Texas, we do call that false autumn because we know that the temperatures will probably get back to the 90 Fahrenheit soon, and get pretty warm. So I do like to be outside though. So it is recommended you don't stop all activity, but maybe you start going to bed a little bit earlier, start winding down earlier during the day. And then of course, considering acupuncture for the fall and winter seasons can help maintain your health. Suggested foods, again, are going to nourish your lung and skin and your liver. And so for the lungs and skin, pears, almonds, white mushrooms, radishes, and honey, especially raw honey, is supposed to be good. For your liver, the leafy green vegetables, dandelion type greens, dark green salads, beets, collard greens, turmeric, and the milk thistle is supposed to help. You can get those in herb form. Another herb you can consider is Chinese skullcap, which clears heat and detoxifies the liver. So cleaning the lung, skin, and liver is recommended this time of year. what can we expect? And what is our feng shui focus for the month? This is coming from the newsletter on the website. It is on the website under the blog post labeled Monthly Energy Update. You can find it there. This and more information. So I cover a lot here, but there is actually a lot that I don't cover, which I think you might find interesting. So go check that out at learnfengshui.com. All right, month of the Kuei Yu water rooster. One thing we can kind of do when we look at the upcoming month is look at past water rooster years, water rooster months. One interesting thing that I found out is in the last year of the water rooster in 1993, the US did experience a superstorm causing snow to reach as far as Florida. I don't think we'll be getting like these weird snowstorms, especially this early in the year, but I do think we will continue to experience a very active tropical storm or hurricane season throughout the fall and witness some other weird weather phenomena. That's just kind of also in the year of the dragon. We have a lot of weather related phenomena, usually relating to earth changes like earthquakes, volcanoes, and stuff like that. Perhaps something like that. I'm not sure. We can only look at the trends and make the predictions based on the information that's there. It's the only information I have. Feng Shui focus is letting go. So the autumn season does encompass August, September, October, and it's associated with the element of metal. And during this period, the changes in nature kind of become apparent: cooler mornings, slower plant growth, leaves changing color, and of course, the beginning of the transition to the cooler months, essentially getting us ready to be dormant for the winter. And it is a time when nature signals us to release and let go. The metal element is associated with emotion and grief. So it's a time of the year that might bring up past emotions and memories, especially approaching the holidays. We might be thinking of loved ones who have passed. Maybe we're just ruminating, which is just kind of overthinking or thinking about past events, past people, past lovers, as well as past mistakes. So that can also lead to that excessive kind of overthinking. And metal does produce water, and water is that emotion. We can kind of feel a little bit sad, maybe depressed this time of year. And, the skies have been gray the past few days here in Texas, no sunshine. And while I do love a cloudy day, I am ready for some cooler weather with some sun. So I totally understand people that live in cooler climates or climates where it's very rainy. And it does kind of bring on this emotion or depression kind of feeling. We need the sun, we need that sun to help us with that depressive energy. It is natural to experience these things, but it is important to address them as they arise, not dwell on them, and just continue to think about it. Releasing these emotions can be done by feeling and acknowledging these emotions instead of suppressing it. Talking about your feelings with a trusted person, a friend, or counselor. Practicing deep breathing to activate that stress relieving chemical. It helps relax the parasympathetic nervous system, which does relate to those endorphins and that stress hormone, and it kind of disengages all of that. So deep breathing, I can't stress enough, is one of the most effective things you can do to lower your blood pressure and to relieve stress and anxiety. It's amazing for those things. Engaging in self-care activities, a hobby, personal well-being, have a little spa day, maybe have a girl day, just kind of get out of that funk. All right, let's look into the zodiac signs and see what the energy has in store for the signs. Okay, if you're new here looking at the zodiac forecast, you might be wondering, one, how you figure out what your zodiac signs are. You can go to the website at learnfengshui.com. There is a zodiac sign calculator, and in the newsletter, there is a link also, so you can just follow all those links. The energy does impact you depending on where it falls in your natal chart. So remember that you might know that you're born, the year of the, we'll just say rooster, but you actually have 4 different zodiac signs. So you have a zodiac sign for the year, month, day, and even hour that you're born. A lot of people don't know the hour, but if you just plug in your birth date with the hour unknown, you can get quite a bit of information. So the newsletter does show you exactly how to read it. So there's a little section before the actual forecasting, and it does kind of have a little guide there. So the year represents your friend group, social circle, and community around you. So it'll impact kind of those outside circle of friends. The month does represent your career, your parental relationships. You'll see an impact there. Sometimes your sibling relationships. The day does represent health and romantic relationships. So you'll see that impact there. Also, kind of the way you view yourself or think about yourself, your true self. And the hour does represent your children's thoughts, emotions, feelings. And if you are a boss, it does represent your subordinate. So it could represent your career in that way. If your zodiac sign falls there, that is the area of life that it will impact. Looking at the zodiac forecast for September. Here we have the Grand Duke, which is the rooster. It is the energy that governs the month, usually referred to as the Grand Duke or sometimes the Tai Soi. We look at what is called the Shinsha stars or symbolic stars for the year to see where we can focus our attention. This month, the rooster could have some financial gain. Looking at two things here called Earth Relief, which does represent investing, investments, and property investments. If you're looking at making an investment this month, it could be very favorable, or maybe you could see a return on investment, especially if you've invested in some sort of property, land, homes, things like that. I'm hoping our homes will sell this month because my husband's a real estate investor. So maybe that'll benefit me. Abundance charm, financial gain, and enjoying the good life. So you may have a little extra money this month, but do be careful and avoid overspending because of the small consumer star, which does represent just kind of a happy time, some overspending, and I can see that because in my case, my youngest is having her sweet 16 birthday party and it's definitely running into a little bit of change here. I'm thinking that's where my rooster is going to see the spending. It might be something like that. The abundance charm, of course, is enjoying the good life while the small consumer is spending. Maybe you're spending on a party or planning an event, something like that, but you might end up spending money. And if you don't plan to spend the money, sometimes then things end up breaking and you end up spending that way. So that small consumer can get you either way. Sometimes it does also represent terms coming to end. If you have like a 0% interest and those terms are ending this month, you might have to pay a little bit of chunk of change. So sometimes it comes in that way. The element of the rooster in and of itself is a metal. It's the peak of the season. Water with the metal does represent like a polishing. So if you think of the way the water kind of runs over and polishes, say, gold in a stream, it's the same type of thing. The more you kind of think, the more you have that thought process, the more you kind of process emotions and things like that. It's like the smarter you get, the more you're able to polish your ideas and really kind of refine things. So it is a good month for you to refine some ideas you may have. Looking at the seasonal combination, monkey, rooster, dog. These are the months that make up the season of autumn. This does have the potential to make you very strong and show wealth opportunity. If you have these three signs, or if you have the dog and the monkey, you'll see the rooster this month and have the energy of pure metal. And it does give you the ability to make connection and network with others in your field, help collaborate, helps you focus, organize, and structure your work, helps you put business systems into place. And again, letting go of what no longer serves you. Decluttering and organizing is also helpful for you this month. You also need to be careful that you're not sitting there overthinking and doing the ruminating thing where you're reliving the past, thinking about the past or past people. The past was better. Now let's look at what's right in front of you, and also future thinking. A little bit of planning can help you overcome those past thoughts. All right. The three harmony, rooster, snake, and ox. This three harmony combination does have the energy to help you get tasks done and to focus. It's also good for brainstorming and problem solving because metal is that a thought process. Organize files, declutter, and help you with executive function activity. So remember, executive function is going to be things like organization, but like with life organization. It's those things like being on time, making a schedule, planning your meals. It's things like that. So if you feel like you've needed to get some things done like that and you have the ox or the snake, then that rooster is going to come in and help you kind of structure those things. Okay. A network and collaborate with others in your field, same as the seasonal combination. And of course, it gives you the ability to get things done and execute your plans. The combination of 6 or the secret friend is the dragon. The dragon and rooster combine and give you the ability to brainstorm and problem solve, refine ideas and put them into action. As mentioned, you may fall victim to the overthinking also and being sentimental. Do recognize your emotions and let go. That really is the theme for the month because all of these zodiac signs do combine to create the element of metal. The rabbit clashes with the rooster in September. It does make a combination with the year, so I'm not sure how much you're going to get with this clash. You might be just fine because a combination does take precedence over a clash. And so you may not feel it too much this month, but during the clashes, you can definitely use that opposing energy to make a change. One thing that could occur is a romantic entanglement. With this clash, you may find yourself romantically interested in somebody, but that rooster rabbit clash does indicate more of a short term attraction and not necessarily a long term commitment or relationship. Sectors for the month: flying stars, how we can enhance, or areas that we need to cure. So, flying stars number 1, 4, 8, and 6 are usually considered positive, but do present a challenge when they meet with negative yearly sectors or stars, which is the case with the star 9 and 6 for the month. When we say feng shui activation, we do mean that you can move the energy or chi in the area with a radio, a fan, aquarium, candle, or moving object, or even just using the sector to work, study, and you can clean and declutter also. Those are all ways to activate the sector. I usually put a little icon on the newsletter on the website. Imagine that. Easy guide. Go to learnfengshui.com to check that out. Okay. Starting with flying star number 1, the authority star, it does go into Gua 8 in the northeast. So if the 1 authority star combining with the 6 yearly star in the northeast does show career progression. So use the sector to enhance the opportunity for promotion or use it to establish yourself as an expert in your work related field and activity. If you're a Gua 8, you do have the potential for career growth or economic opportunity or maybe even travel for the month. And you can enhance this energy by just using the sector or placing a fan or having some kind of moving object in the area. Little radio works well too. Flying star number 4, known as the Academy Star, it does go to Guatu in the southwest. So that flying star 4 combining with the yearly 9 does make a special combination good for organizing, executing plans, and creative thinking or ideas. So Guatu females, you do need to be cautious of being too overbearing this month. You can enhance the sector by using the sector for brainstorming, organizing, and again, those executive function activities, and of course, learning. So studying in the area is always good. Flying star number 3 is usually known as the conflict star, but it can have a positive impact this month. When it goes to the north, it does combine with the yearly star 8, which creates a special combination. This can be used for expansion, growth, and self-improvement. If you're looking to grow something, expand into something, expand your business, use that north sector, of course, put a fan, or you can do a short-term water activation. And Gua 1, be cautious of injury to your feet and legs, and do keep your temper in check and under control. Try to avoid disputes about work or workload and finances. So be careful of that this month if you're a Gua 1. Flying star 8, the coveted wealth star, which we like to chase here, does go to Gua 6, the northwest. So old-fashioned hard work and effort usually follow that 8th star, and nothing comes to those who are lazy. Of course, it does usually just represent that work and the work ethic. Financial gain always requires some effort of some sort, and you can use this sector to work. And bonus if you do have an intellectual property to sell. So if you have something to sell, a book or something like that, now is the time to use the Northwest to do it. If you are Gua 6, you may see financial opportunity this month, so it may be quite busy for you. Also, I like to use the example if you are a stay-at-home mom, you're not going to magically get money, but you will be busier. That 8 does represent just working and being busy. So it doesn't necessarily equate to financial gain if you're not putting your effort into financial endeavors, if that makes sense. So be careful you're not putting effort without seeing a payout, is my caution to the Gua 6 for the month. Now, looking at challenging sectors for the month, areas that you can cure. Flying stars 2 and 5 are usually considered negative, while flying stars 3 and 7 can be more neutral depending on where they visit. Of course, this month the 3 is positive, and the 7 star will just set the tone because it falls center. So some of these other stars are considered positive, like the 6 and 9, like I talked about earlier, but they really can't be used, and you can cure them with it just not using the area, or you can put a saltwater cure, which is just basically a jar with salt water and 6 or 7 coins in it. And a charm usually works, a Wooloo gourd. If you have something you like to use, then feel free to use it too. Whatever you like to use to cure. I know there's certain cures to flying stars that they teach in different schools of feng shui. You are, of course, welcome to use those, whatever your beliefs are. Flying star number 2, the illness star, does go to the south, to the Gua 9. And of course, it does fall with that yearly 7 star, and it does indicate there may be a need for surgery, especially if you're already ill, if you have a respiratory illness, or if your room or front door is located here. Try not to use this area. Do be cautious with fire-related accidents this month. Do be careful with open flames, and like if you smoke, be sure to put your cigarettes out and stuff like that. So just be cautious using open flames. Be careful with candles, stuff like that for the month, especially in the south, or if you're a Gua 9. If you're a Gua 9, stomach-related issues can occur, so make sure you prepare your food properly and be careful where you eat, what you're eating. Make sure you're taking the proper precautions and food safety measures when preparing food. And of course, you can cure this with the salt cure, but just really keeping the sector quiet should be just fine. Flying star number 5, the disaster star, does go east to Gua 3. This should not cause much of an issue, but it does indicate a issue with urinary or reproductive organs if you happen to sleep here, if your front door is here, or if you're a Gua 3. If you are a Gua 3, do take caution in your health and be proactive in your self-care. Don't ignore your symptoms. Please go to the doctor. You can mitigate this by a salt cure, spending less time in the sector, or placing your preferred item or cure. Flying star 7 does go to the center, and it's called a legal and dispute star. Remember, the center is not necessarily considered a Gua. If you're a true Gua 5, sometimes this can impact you. What I've learned is more or less the center does set the theme for the month, and it's showing us we need to be cautious of what we say. So the 7 star does cause conflict, but unlike the 3 star, the conflict usually is more verbal because the Gua 7 is the West. The West does represent communication and speech, talking, and of course that rooster does reside in the 7. It is September, which is the month of the rooster, and the rooster likes to be loud. If you've ever been around a rooster, they like to hear themselves speak. Sometimes it's more of a thing of you're just, won't stop talking, petty bickering, arguments, and maybe even slandering others. Don't do that this month. It's just not professional and not very polite to do that. It's not very demure. So do try to be cautious of what you say and just try not to be petty this month. Roosters love to be petty. Gua 7s love to be petty. And it just kind of represents that kind of arguing type of communication. So don't do that this month. Just in general, it's for everybody. Flying star number 6, called the Luck Star, does go to the southeast. And again, Luck Star is good, 6 star is good, but falling where it's falling this month in the southeast, where the yearly 2 star, which is the illness star, resides, we have the instance of a good flying star falling into a sector that's unusable. You may have some illness if you're sleeping here, if your front door is located here, or if you use the sector often. Gua number 4, do be careful in taking advice from others, especially in the supernatural aspect, card readings, etc. This month, they may not prove to be very accurate, so do be cautious of that if you are a Gua 4. You can mitigate this by placing a saltwater cure or a preferred item, especially if your bedroom's here, and just keep the sector generally quiet. Flying star number 9, the happiness star, goes to Gua 7 in the west. And again, the instance of the good star and the bad sector, unusable for the month. And this kind of indicates interior illness with the combination. But does fall with the yearly 5 star. The 5-9 combination does kind of carry the indication of disease or an STD. If you happen to be dating and things like that, the energy combined does carry that indication. Make sure you're using protection and taking care of yourself. So abstaining from new partners if that's the case. And if you are having symptoms, seek treatment if needed. So don't ignore that. Most things are treatable. Do be cautious, okay? Mitigate it by placing a saltwater cure if your bedroom's here, and just keeping the sector generally quiet, or placing your preferred item or cure in the area. Looking at no renovation sectors now, the earth shaws for the month. So the no renovations are sectors or areas that you want to avoid digging and major renovations for the year or the month. And this does apply to the ground floor only of your home. So if you have a ground level apartment, or if you're wanting to renovate something on the second floor, this doesn't apply. Or if you have an apartment that is above ground level, you can do renovations only looking at flying stars. So it does only affect the earth and the ground floor of a building. And of course, for the year, we're going to want to avoid the southeast. It does a house also that yearly a Grand Duke and a disaster Shah, the Wuji Shah. The south is going to be a sector we're not going to want to renovate for the entire year. And of course, the southwest, which all have that three kindlings, which is the loss and injury and illness, which usually indicates financial loss and some sort of accident happening. So we want to avoid renovating there. And of course, the west is the Grand Duke or the Tai Sui for the month. And going directly across is the rabbit in the east. And that is the 5 yellow for the month also, as well as a Soi Po or the month breaker. We want to avoid the clashing energy in our home as well as the clashing energy personal in our Batsa that is residing in the east. We're not going to want to renovate that area. And remember, renovations can be done in these sectors with date and time selection in most cases. So if you need to have a renovation done in one of these areas and you're looking at starting and you want to pick a good day to start, that's possible too. So just shoot me a message and we can talk about that. And of course, there is good dates, like lucky dates calendar on the website in that newsletter. So make sure you check that out. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Staying healthy, Zodiac Forecast, and Feng Shui sectors to use for the month. So I hope that helps you plan your month out. Remember to go to the website if you want to check out that newsletter at learnfengshui.com. It's under the blog posts. You can sign up for emails too. I believe it'll just shoot you an email when that blog post is ready each month, like each time it comes out, and you can just check that out there. If you listen on Spotify, you can leave a little comment in the comment section where it asks you, what did you think about today's episode or something like that. So you can ask me questions or comment if you listen on Spotify and YouTube. Also, please leave a little comment there. I'm excited for this month's podcast. I am going to start a little bit of a new segment at the end of the month. So next week, I'm going to be talking about brooms and ceremony. When we talk about brooms, we're talking about like clearing, cleansing energy. We're going to talk about how to use brooms as sort of this symbolic sweeping away of old energy. And we're also going to be talking about some of the origins and history of the way brooms were used for cleansing. So we're going to look at cleansing rituals or ceremony. That podcast at the end of the month, I'll be taking off the 20th, and then the 27th we'll be back. I'm going to start doing book reviews, like Feng Shui book reviews, and I'll be covering different Feng Shui books. So this month I've decided to start with a really, I think, introduction, really easy beginner book that is called Move Your Stuff, Change Your Life by Karen Ross Carter. And so that'll be a really interesting thing we're going to start incorporating into the episodes. Sometimes I think looking through some of these books and being able to recommend some books to you guys as listeners can be very helpful to you in your Feng Shui journey. Be sure to stay tuned for that. All right, guys. Well, don't forget to go to the website and check out everything we covered here today on that newsletter, as well as if you need help with looking at an energy mapping, I can definitely help you with that. Thanks for tuning in, and you can find me on all social medias at Learn Feng Shui. Everything is linked below in the link tree, and I'll catch you guys next week.
For a free energy mapping of your floor plan, please check the link in the show notes. To support today's podcast, go to learnfengshui.com, sign up for emails, leave a review, and share with your family and friends.